Hello and welcome to my assignment 3 video. Um, for the first problem, to fix the simple color 3D shader, I simply made the simple color 3D look like the color selected 3D, which involves separating the two the C buffers. So there's one that takes in the world matrices or matrix, and there's one that takes in the view and the projection, and that manifests out here, where I set up another buffer in the init demo. What is it? Here they are. So this is the view and projection. This is the world matrices, and then I just update them separately, and everything works out beautifully. Come on. There it is. Beautiful cubes. Doing their thing. For problem 2, to make the pre-made triangle, I just defined the model class here, create unit pyramid. All the colors are the same because I'm using the color selected 3D shader, so I define the colors in the respective C buffers, which are all the way down here. Here's my model where I just create the unit pyramid, and this is important for later, but I store it in the model, in the pointer to the model, and then the model is rendered like that, and there's the color. And I've kept it on wireframe because I had an issue where I couldn't tell why it seemed like the perspective was off on this triangle. All of the edges were warping, and I believe all my indices were backwards, so I was seeing through the pyramid. So that's what the wireframe helped me fix for that. And I'll do question 3. So question 3 was multiple things on screen created in that specific project. So I have here multiple pyramids, wireframe pyramids on screen. There's one at the origin. I believe it is this one is at the origin. I have the scaled one out there. I have a scaled pyramid over here, and then on the other side, I have another pyramid, the same scale as this one, but placed here and a little bit above. All of them are different colors, as per instructions, and this is a good time to address the further questions. Part 1 question. So because I'm storing all these pyramids, where are they? Because I'm storing these as models, so I have a pointer to my unit pyramid, I don't have to save multiple copies of the same data. All that I have to save are the world matrices. So when I draw my scene, I set up the world matrix and the color for each individual object, and then I I update the constant buffer with its information, and then I just re-render the same model 3 times, which is useful in case it just saves up on the memory that I'm using for each model. If I can use the same model over and over again, like say a tree, or I guess like a bullet could also be rendered multiple times in different places. So yes, same model, different rendering and transformations. This question 4 was um, the two shaders. So I have two pyramids that are rendered with the color selected 3D and two cubes that are rendered with the simple color 3D. So these two pyramids, their colors are defined in a constant buffer, and then these two cubes are rendered with the colors that they have in their model class. This one was difficult because it required a lot of setting up in the header. Essentially, these are all the things that I added. I was struggling with it. I don't think I needed. Oh, I know what my issue was. I didn't need the. I added two shaders, two pixel shaders, and two vertex layouts. I 100% did not need them, but I have to leave right now to get to class. I only needed the simple vertex shader, and then I could have used the pixel shader and the vertex layout. I'll get to that. Sorry, I just got really excited. I also have this extra struct, which is for the simple color 3D shader, and the associated buffer handle for that. And then the only thing, do I have a live object? I will delete those. That's embarrassing. All the way down, I do initialize. I do compile both shaders and then also their respective pixel shaders and layouts. But this was my issue, is I was setting the constant buffers to, I was setting these constant buffers to registers and then not, or to these slots, and then not telling that it was not corresponding to the shaders. So register 1 or 0 constant buffer and 1 constant buffer, and then down here we have register 2. So it all hooks up, and it would have been fine if I had just thought of that before I did my video. And then down here in my draw scene, I render object 1 and object 2, which are the colors defined here. Was that the selected? And then I switch out the layout, the pixel shader, and the vertex shader, and render objects 3 and 4. For that, if I was going to design more shader classes, I would absolutely they would all use common, as much as they could, they would use these common structures. So, I mean, not that one, but I would not have a shader that had this form of where the view and the projection had to be loaded over and over again, but instead I would have a base shader class, like we have, say, a base command for our command pattern in our engine sequence, and all other shaders are inherited where they have a common, different shaders will have different common shader bases. So the shaders that can all use the same output and instance data will all be derived from the same shader classes, so that it's very simple to just switch in shaders. I would also like to be able to just pass in a shader to this render, where in DXApp, all the way back at the bottom, to just be able to call render with the context and the shader. Something like that would also be very helpful. Unfortunately, I spent all of my time this weekend on the engine, so I did not have time to do the sphere. I will personally do it in my own time, but I did not get around to it, so I cannot deliver it to you. Thank you so much, and have a lovely weekend.